Life is an adventure. Every year, every month, and every day is a gift we often take for granted. We race through life chasing our personal goals and things we wish to acquire, but rarely stop to think about others and the big picture. This is a simple story about my band, 3 musicians, and our quest to give a little something back. A quest to share a message and educate people about a quiet but serious illness in our community, Parkinson's disease. The goal to drive my 1959 Austin Healey Sprite from our hometown of Sydney to the middle of Australia's amazing outback, Ayers Rock. An achievable but daunting distance of 3,000 kilometres in 5 days would follow. I hope you enjoy the amazing countryside, changing weather, and one little red car in this short film, as I also intend to inform you a little more about Parkinson's and its effects on those suffering. Day 1 saw us leave Sydney. The sun was shining, the support car was packed with everything we needed for the trip. Often seen as an old person's disease, 20% of Parkinson's sufferers are diagnosed before the age of 50. For example, Michael J. Fox, aged 30. The number of people diagnosed under 50 is equivalent to 60% of the entire number of people with MS. In fact, Parkinson's disease is thought to affect 1 in 100 people over the age of 60. Yet the amount of media coverage, government funding to research, and attention given to those suffering the disease is very limited. Day 2 took us west from Wagga to another country town named Mildura, 556 kilometres of green pasture and country roads. We also ran into our first hassles with the differential and gearbox in the Austin Healey getting noisy towards the end of the day. After a quick discussion, it was decided to do a roadside oil change of the diff in the rain. A little behind schedule, we were back on our way, braving the decreasing temperature and constant drizzle. Many people don't know what Parkinson's disease is and how it affects those diagnosed with it. In simple terms, Parkinson's disease was first categorized by James Parkinson in 1817. PD is a disorder of the central nervous system that results from loss of cells in various parts of the brain. This damaged part of the brain produces dopamine, a chemical messenger responsible for transmitting signals within the brain that allow for coordination of movement. The loss of dopamine causes neurons to fire without normal control, leaving sufferers less able to direct or control their movements. Simple tasks such as walking, talking, and small movements degenerate as the disease gets worse. Day 3 took us further west, 417 kilometres towards South Australia's capital city, Adelaide. Today was also to be our most tedious day with the car. A serious problem with the ignition module caused many delays in which the car would just switch off, and we'd be forced to pull over and chase down the problem. After a couple of calls and quick diagnosis from a local mechanic, we decided to push on towards Adelaide and hopefully track down the part on our day off. The $90 ignition module fixed all our problems and we're on our way. The longest leg of our journey took us 800 kilometres north through some of the most amazing countryside I'd ever seen. Mountain ranges, the ocean, and huge wind generators were all part of the scenery as we passed through Port Augusta and then headed north. The simple movement of kicking a football or jumping from a trailer reminds me of the fact Parkinson's sufferers quickly lose many simple motor skills as the disease takes over. We arrived safely into Cuba Pedy and were greeted by a very happy hotel owner. The accommodation was very comfy and it was our first experience of underground living. Lights out early and another 6 AM start tomorrow. Destination Uluru. We set off at 6:30 AM from Kubapiti, and with petrol prices hitting $1.99 per litre, our bank account was almost at zero. We expected an amazing sunrise over the flat desert plains, but were taken by surprise when treated to the most amazing rainbow we'd ever seen. The most obvious symptoms of Parkinson's are resting tremors, slowness of movement, problems with balance and rigidity. Reduced facial expression is also another noticeable symptom. Many patients also suffer from sleep difficulties, loss of smell, speech and swallowing problems, unexplained pains and low blood pressure when standing. I've personally seen these symptoms take effect in my dad, and Peter's also seen the same things happen in his nan. A cure may be just around the corner, and with a little more funding and support from the government, radical changes will be made. As we entered the Northern Territory, the speed limit was raised to 130 km an hour, and our excitement for being so close to our destination and goals also increased. We took the last 200 kilometers of the trip very slowly. By now the diff in the Austin Healey was getting louder. Obviously, with 2,800 km of driving in the last 4 days under his belt, a little tender loving care was in order. We reached Uluru around 3:45 PM and experienced Australia's greatest rock in all its glory. Our destination reached, goals complete and satisfied with seeing some of the most amazing scenery in the world, we loaded the Austin Healey onto the support trailer for its journey home. Hopefully our quest opened the eyes of people we met along the way and others that will listen to this short film and ask themselves questions about Parkinson's. This journey taught us a lot about pushing on. Many times we could have loaded the car onto the trailer, especially on day 3, but we made it, determined to drive every K between Sydney and Uluru. Not everyone can donate money towards research, but we hope you take the time to look into Parkinson's and other things that impact our community. We're a band called My Future Lies. This was our journey and we hope you enjoyed it.